Dr. Berg said that if you drink 2 ounces of apple cider vinegar every day, you're going to lose 2 to 4 pounds of fat off your body. And I thought to myself, I've got to try this. And you might be wondering, why would Violet want to try this? She's at goal weight. Well, it's because this was the thumbnail. That's visceral fat. I have a confession to make. Although I'm at goal, and I've been at goal for 3.5 years, I still have my insecurities. Still have parts of my body that I'm not comfortable with. One of them being my tummy. I still have to think when I get dressed about what I'm going to wear. So I dress to suit my body type, which is a smart thing to do. And it means that 9 times out of 10, when I get up, get dressed, and leave the house, I feel absolutely fine and I love the way I look. But there's that one time in 10 where I want to wear something maybe a little more form-fitting, and then I'm uncomfortable. First, can I say how hard that is for me to acknowledge? We all have things about ourselves that we don't like, but we don't talk about it. And yet here I am talking about it. So when Dr. Berg said that drinking apple cider vinegar could help me address this pain point in my life, I was more than happy to commit 12 weeks of my life to eliminate visceral fat from my body. Here's the even better part of the story. Apparently, apple cider vinegar tastes horrible. So Dr. Berg suggested that we mix apple cider vinegar, 1 ounce, with 8 ounces of water, the juice from 1 freshly squeezed lemon, either stevia drops or his electrolyte powder that has stevia in it. Mix it together, and then he figured you could slug it down because apparently it would taste like lemonade, but still I would need to slug it down. So it just gave me this feeling it wasn't going to taste great even in this concoction. Well, guess what? I didn't want to do the juice of 1 lemon because that's 3.2 grams of carbs. And I only eat 10 grams of carbs-ish per day. So that's taking out 32% of the carbs I can eat per day. And if I felt like having some veg, I wouldn't be able to eat my normal amount. So what I decided to do, which is check it out and see what happens if I just put apple cider vinegar in water. And what I figured out is that if I put 12 ounces of water, 1 ounce of apple cider vinegar, and a bunch of ice in a glass, I was able to drink it no problem. It tasted actually good to me, which I guess is one of the benefits of eating keto for the last 4 years. My tastes have changed. So I was drinking a glass of apple cider vinegar water first thing in the morning, and then a glass of apple cider vinegar water before supper in the evening, or with supper in the evening. About 3 weeks into drinking 2 glasses apple cider vinegar every day, I started to notice that my knees were sore. Not what I was looking for. Around the same time, Dr. Ekberg put out a video talking about the difference between apple cider vinegar and kombucha for our health, and the active ingredients in either one. Really great video, you should watch it. In that video, he mentioned that in kombucha, there can still be significant amount of sugar, and there could be significant amounts of alcohol, which got me thinking, is it possible that there's alcohol or sugar in the apple cider vinegar that I was drinking? So I purchased a refractometer that he mentioned in the video, and I measured the apple cider vinegar that I was using, and sure enough, I saw that there was a little bit of alcohol and a little bit of sugar readings being shown. I changed to the more popular brand of apple cider vinegar that most people use, so the Bragg brand. In my refractometer, I still saw a little bit of numbers, but I decided to go forward with the Bragg since it had much better number showing than the one that I was using previously. You might be wondering, when I started to experience pain, why didn't I just stop doing the challenge? And it was because, first of all, when I started to do keto, I lived through withdrawal. So there was a part of me that just wondered, is this just my body getting used to what I'm doing? And maybe that little bit of sugar that was there was enough to mess with me. And maybe there's something else in the apple cider vinegar that I don't even know that could be messing with me. But I just thought, is it possible that I just need to let my body get used to it and then see what results I get? So I pushed forward. By the 6 week mark, I started to notice that my back was hurting me, my shoulders were hurting me, and my elbow was starting to hurt me. And again, I'm questioning, wow, do I keep moving forward with this? This is not feeling great. Fast forward to today, my back, my shoulders, my knees, my elbow, my neck, all my joints that used to hurt me before are hurting me. And it's interesting because you're seeing me move around, right? I'm really good at this. I'm really good at looking like I'm okay when I'm not okay. I've done it for 20 something years. And it didn't take me long to get back into the swing of just like walking through the world like if everything was all right, even though it wasn't. But do I feel great right now? No, I don't. So the pain in my joints didn't subside. Did I lose any weight? No. I'm actually stable. I remained stable the entire 12 weeks. What I did notice is that I was urinating a lot. Every 2-ish hours, I was in the bathroom, had to pee, had to pee, had to pee, which made it very difficult at night because I was getting up at least twice per night to go pee. What am I getting out of this? So I want to point out that for those of you who are meeting me for the first time, I've been keto for 4 years. Occasionally, I have carnivore days, which means those are days where I don't eat any vegetation. I did live carnivore for 2 months at one point. I eat the same 4 or 5 meals in rotation all the time. And I did the same during this 12-week period. My life has been stable with the exception of I've added this drink. I'm pretty confident in saying that the change that happened was because I added this drink. Now, I'm going to know more about that in the coming weeks as I'm going to stop drinking it because I didn't get the results I wanted anyway. And I will see how long it takes me to get back to my normal feeling. And I will see what happens with the pain that I'm living right now. And I'll report back to you guys on that. But my takeaway from doing this challenge is that the initial experiment that Dr. Berg was reporting on was 175 Japanese participants who started off obese. By the end of 12 weeks, after drinking apple cider vinegar, I'm not exactly sure in that experiment how the apple cider vinegar was delivered to them. They lost somewhere between 2 and 4 pounds of fat, visceral, subcutaneous. Their waist to hip ratio improved. Their triglycerides and cholesterol improved. Just generally, they were in better health after 12 weeks. And the takeaway that I have from this is I started this challenge at my goal weight, already eating a healthy diet. If I'm Japanese and I'm obese, there's a possibility I'm not eating a healthy diet. If you're obese, adding the apple cider vinegar may have more impact and more positive outcome for you because you are obese and you have a lot of weight to lose versus myself, I'm at goal versus myself, I'm already eating healthy. I feel like maybe I wasn't the right candidate for this scenario to give me any kind of benefit physically. It did give me a benefit psychologically and emotionally. What this helped me to see is that I still have insecurities about my body. It helped me to see that I want to solve this area of my body. It also helped me to see that maybe this isn't visceral fat. That's a possibility. Maybe I just don't, maybe this is something else. And so that takes me to this other idea of could it be that I have tissue and things that need to be solved that are not visceral fat? A question mark that I will need to do more investigation on to figure out. My goal is to be honest with myself and to actually address the things that do cause me to feel, insecure. Again, hard to acknowledge. When I figure it out, I'm going to share that with you. Until that video, though, you can watch this video here where I did figure out how to manage the visceral fat that I had. And it's going to help you to manage your visceral fat if you have any. Click on the video and I'm going to meet you over there.